Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime and we meet again today to talk about an update in the case involving a suspect called Timothy Haslett Jr. Now, for those of you who followed this case with me in 2022, that's how long it's been, we've been waiting for an update. And today we finally have an update that has some evidence based on what we think went on here. Okay, so don't worry if you've never heard of this case before. Firstly, in the description box, I'll put the previous live stream in there, so you can watch that afterwards, okay? But I'm going to give you a full recap now, and we're going to look around the area a little bit, and then I'm going to be showing the press conference that they just had in the last 45 minutes or so. I want to thank everyone. There was about 25 people that emailed me the links to this press conference. You see what happens when I ask you guys for press conferences. In the previous stream, I'm like, if you guys have any press conference links, and there they were. So thank you so much to everyone who sent it to me. Thank you to Annie P as well for sending me the superseding indictment. I was able to get my hands on the indictment, but we want the superseding one, which has the new charge. So thank you so much. Okay, are we ready? And to the person who bought a sticker earlier, can't remember who it was, I'm so sorry, but you asked for my original background a little bit. So here we go, we have it. Okay, welcome to everyone, mods, patrons, members, subscribers, anyone in the Excelsior, Springs, Missouri area, any family of the victims. I think there's gonna be more victims, sadly. I think this guy, I've always felt he's a potential, or it feels like he's probably a serial killer, but they don't have that evidence yet based on what we know. But when they find blue barrels and then human remains in blue barrels, oh, whoa. Like, what is going on, right? Yeah, Hypnotizer Lobster says, can't believe it's been so long. Me neither. When I went to look at my old stream from 2022, I look about half my age compared to now. I'm like, damn, okay, when was that? How many years ago was that? And I can't believe it was in 2022. You know, like, it feels like time has just flown. It feels like we just spoke about this the other day, but oh my goodness. So I also want to say happy birthday to Lieutenant Peter Pranzo, Harlem Raiders. I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but I did forget to say it in my earlier live stream. So happy birthday to Peter Pranzo. Okay, I'm going to bring up this original presentation because it was pretty informative that I made for us of like, okay, what do we know so far? So we're going to go through this very quickly. I'm going to try my best to power through because it is in the original live stream because we've got lots of things to go over. The press conference, the document, all of that, right? Okay, so heads up to the mods. When I say a quick live stream, it's probably not going to be as quick would mean to most people. Because I'm like, now we got documents, we got presentation, we got mapped, we've got all the things that we love here at Grizzly True Crime. Please like and share so that others can also learn this information, right? Cyber Sleuth Steph said blue barrels right out of a horror movie. Yes, this guy and this case is right out of a horror movie. Okay, so what we know so far. On the morning of Friday, October 8th of 2022, see now I have to specify the year because it's been that long. In Excelsior Springs, Missouri, a young African-American woman escaped a house on Orchard Street, and that's in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, okay? She had a metal collar or rope around her neck and ran door to door begging for help. One resident was Lisa Johnson. Another woman's grandmother took her in, gave her a blanket and food, and called the police at 7:47 a.m. So she was running around. She spoke to one resident. She found another lady to take her in. Oh, shame, man. And it sounded horrifying. She was apparently so emaciated, and she had this like collar around her neck, and she was freaking out, of course, and she just escaped a horror house, So she was transported to a local area hospital and is in stable condition. Her family reunited with her there. The police got a search warrant and then they arrested Timothy Haslett Jr. He's been charged with first-degree kidnapping, SA, second-degree assault, and that was from the Clay County prosecutor. So see, that's 3 charges. Now he faces 10, okay? Earlier, they had updated it to be 9 and now it's 10. So we're going to go over all of that in a moment. I'm just giving you a little bit of the backstory, right? Oh my word, he is incredibly scary. So the victim said, he killed my friends didn't make it. So I'm wondering if one of the murder charges, the one that they've just charged him with today, that they've just announced, I think it would be one of her friends, which is even more terrifying, right? So the police had not reported, I'm saying had because this is obviously an old presentation, we're just going over it so we're on the same page. The police have not reported that they have located any additional victims of crime in the house, but they are processing the scene, which is expected to take several days. When I look around the area, for people that are local, is it true that the house is gone? Because when I look on Google Maps, I'm like, where's the house? It's like I can't find it anymore. Like, did they tear it down? Probably to look for evidence. If there are any locals here, or you know a lot about this case, or like, I think there was a guy just now I saw right before I started my stream, Steven, you said that you used to like serve him at a gas station, at a restaurant. I can't remember what you said, but please email me information like that. I'd love to know more. grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com is my email, and I keep all my sources anonymous. Okay, so if you have anything to share that you know about this guy, even if it's speculative, it's okay. I'll read it, and then it's my responsibility to decide if it's something that I can't even share or not. Or if you say keep it anonymous, keep it to yourself, I will. Okay, so the police have reported they didn't locate yet. Okay. The man did not own the home. Evidence was seen being bagged, and a blue barrel was spotted being taken out of the basement. A tow truck driver came to tow the vehicle away and reportedly stated that he has towed a number of vehicles away from that area in the last couple of months. So look, I even put clues for myself. 301 Old Orchard Avenue. Yeah, Old Orchard Avenue. Wait. 301 Old Orchard Avenue. I just want to see if I type in Avenue on my little map here. Ooh, maybe it's there. Maybe we'll see the house. Anyway, we'll go there just now. Okay, so Timothy has a young son, a dog, and a drone that he was frequently spotted flying. Matthew White, whose mom lives in the area, has delivered pizza to him for a few years and said that he found it strange that Timothy asked him to step inside the house to receive a tip. Oh, that's so creepy. Okay, Janet says the house is still there. There's Old Orchard Road and Old Orchard Avenue. So I'll go look at Avenue again there. Thank you, Steve. Steve, if you drive past and take pictures, please send them to me. Or like take a video. Please, yes, send it to me. So Missy Hancock, a neighbor, spoke to him once in person and said he was a bit strange and was not very talkative. May have spotted a mother or mother-in-law picking up the child for school. TikToker Ash Centric saw the man in the line at school dropping his son, a first grader, off. And this was the time that the woman escaped the home. So when he was out dropping his kid off at school, the person he had in the basement for what sounds like weeks and had abused. And she said her friends didn't make it. They were murdered. Oh, my word. She ran out while he was dropping his kid off at school. Okay. Timothy divorced the mother of his child in 2016. Other members of the community commented on how smart the little boy is. Shame. He must be. I hope he's okay. His son. Other members of the community commented on how smart he is. Timothy has had several charges in the past for careless driving, resulting in an accident. One had an active warrant for his arrest. Of course, those are minor charges compared to what he's facing now, right? Okay, so that's a small overview. And then I just quickly want to see here if I go Old Orchard Drive. Just hold on. Yes. Can we go to that house? Where is it? I also want to show you this. Hold on one second, which will also give us a good recap from, just so that we all get there before the press conference, okay, from today. So this is an old clip, and it explains a little bit. So here we go. Wait, sound on. It's only 2.5 minutes, okay?
Okay, so this morning at about 7:47 this morning, Excelsior Springs police officers got reports of a woman going door to door, screaming for help, banging on the door. The original call was that she had a rope around her neck. Officers located her at a residence down the street. A woman had taken her in and sheltered her until we could arrive. Once we made contact with her, it was readily evident that she was being held against her will at some point. And there was clear signs of that to the officers at the time. We then had her transported by ambulance to a local area hospital where she's receiving treatment. She's stable at this time. She made some statements to us, which led us to this residence here behind us. We then gathered a search warrant. We're in the process of executing that search warrant at this time. We have no further victims that we are aware of at this specific moment in time. We are still processing the warrant, and that all is subject to change. So she made mention of other victims, but there's no signs of them at this time that we have found. So while we work this scene and process through all of this, we are also trying to corroborate some of her story and make sure that if there is other victims that we try and reach out to them and or their family. So we're all in that process. This is still very much an active investigation. While we process that, I will try to relay as much information to you as I can. I'm sorry it took this long. We're not trying to keep any information from anybody. We just want to make sure that we respect the victims and make sure that all of their needs are met. Okay, so I won't be taking any questions at this time. That's the update that we're willing to provide at this point in time. And here in a little bit, we'll probably reach back out to you guys, okay?
So that was October of 2022. All right. Do you guys remember? Is it ringing a bell now? Because I think some of you might have seen this, but maybe you just needed a reminder. Okay. So many locals say that the house is still there. So there is an old Orchard Drive and an old Orchard Avenue. So I went to the drive and this is the house. Oh my goodness. I remember it now from this, like garage. If I'm wrong, tell me. But I do remember driving around here and looking at this with you guys and this garage over here, and I don't know what horrors went on in this house, right? What went on in this home? It sounds really scary, and we are going to read the superseding indictment after the press conference that we watch, right? Gaynor says, yes, G, I remember now. Yeah, now you remember, right? And then they had drones flying over the house, and they were like, it looked a little bit like, you know, like Rex Heuermann's house when they went over it. But here they were like blue barrels outside, and we were like, blue barrels. And then, let me show you this quickly. I don't know if you remember this, but let's just make it smaller like this so that I can make it bigger eventually. This was from, someone posted this on June 30th, KC Discover, but I remember like barrels floating. Okay, so they say, but blue barrels noticed floating near Kansas City in the Missouri River with proper security measures in place. Earlier this morning, many witnesses began to see blue barrels floating in the river. The last time a blue barrel was found in the river happened to be around this time last year. Okay, last year was in 2023, when a woman was kidnapped and was able to escape. Well, that was in 2022. But there was a blue barrel found shortly after. And they said, I just remember a small news article saying that they thought it was one of the witnesses that they wanted to speak to. They said was found in the blue barrel. Oh my word. So they said here, the body that was in the barrel last year was believed to be a witness of the black woman who was kidnapped by Timothy Haslett Jr. The barrels are said to be on the move. So if you see them, contact your local authorities. This is happening right now. What? Blue barrels are popping up? Okay, so if you live in the Missouri area, Missouri in general, because now they're floating down the river. Okay, Missouri River. Yeah, call the police, because that could literally be evidence that's now popping up and floating around. Very important for this investigation. So now what we're going to do is, I just want to see, okay, I've shown you those. What I'm going to do now is show you the press conference, where is it? This one. Okay. It's only 9.5 minutes. I'll boost it for us. And it says live, new charges filed against Excelsior Springs SA and kidnapping suspect. Okay, so just hold on. I just want to resize it for you. And if I need to boost the sound nicely, let's just check if it's boosted enough. Then I will. So this press conference was from today. Okay, I'll put that a little banner up so that we know.
Captain Nathan Mulch of the Liberty Police Department, Captain Carl Burris of the Gladstone Police Department, and also in attendance is investigators Michael Bailey and Tammy Hink with the Clay County Prosecutor's Office. I want to begin by saying that the charge of an offense is not evidence of guilt, and the defendants are presumed innocent until found guilty in a court of law. I also want to say that my heart goes out to the victims and the families in this case. Today, the Clay County Grand Jury indicted Timothy Haslett Jr. on 10 felony counts. The defendant was previously charged with 9 felonies, including rape, sodomy, kidnapping, assault, and endangering the welfare of a child. Those charges remain the same. The new charge is for the murder of Janie Crosdale. Specifically, that between June 6, 2022 and October 7, 2022 in Clay County, Missouri, the defendant, after deliberation, knowingly caused the death of Janie Crosdale by an act of homicidal violence. Murder in the first degree is an A felony, and the range of punishment for that offense is either death or imprisonment for life without the eligibility of probation or parole. The court set the defendant's bond at $5 million. We became aware of the facts of this case beginning on October 7th, 2022, when the defendant's surviving victim was able to escape captivity from the defendant's basement. Since that day, the defendant has remained in custody. Investigators from over 16 law enforcement agencies have worked together pursuing over 100 leads and reviewing evidence. I commend their hard work on this case. During the investigation, over 100,000 photo and video files were recovered.
What? 100,000 photos and videos as evidence. Oh my. I think they're working through a lot of that, right? A lot of that. I think there's going to be so much. I think this is a serial killer. I'll just say that's my speculation. I will not be surprised if it turns out that this is a serial killer that happened to be in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. How scary. Okay, just one more time. I'll go back a few seconds here.
In this case, during the investigation, over 100,000 photo and video files were recovered, and investigators have been spending countless hours reviewing them for relevant evidence. Today's indictment represents the next step in our pursuit of justice for the victims, the families, and our community. The physical, psychological, and sexual torture described by the defendant's surviving victim is brutal and barbaric. When crimes like this occur in our community, it can be devastating. So I want the citizens of Clay County to know that the men and women of the Clay County Prosecutor's Office are working hard inside and outside the courtroom and doing everything we can to keep them safe and deliver justice.
I just put this picture up so that you can see the dude's face. I'm not going to give him much attention. I'm going to take the picture down in a moment. I just wanted you to see because I realized my presentation didn't have his picture. Look at this guy. This is Timothy Haslett Jr. 10 charges now, a $5 million bond. One charge now is including murder. The other was already horrendous. So this is the guy that I would speculate would very likely turn out to be a serial killer, but we'll see what happens and what evidence they can find, right? Okay, so now let's take his picture away. And yes, how scary that his son was actually living there. I think he kept his victims in the basement. Like there, you know, where we just saw the garage. I think that's where they said there was like a room that he'd set up almost like, I don't know, reminds me, yeah, like Rex Uriman's room, you know, that he had. Oh my word, okay, here we go.
Our work continues. I would urge anyone who knows anything about this case to contact the Excelsior Springs Police Department. With that being said, and understanding this is an open and pending case, I will answer a few questions.
So you think that Crosdale was killed before the person escaped?
Correct.
And do you think that there are other victims, like the witness stated that Timothy had told them that there were multiple people that he killed previous to the woman escaping?
So today's indictment represents all available charges with the facts and evidence available to us, right? The surviving victim did mention that the defendant stated he had killed 2 people, but today's charges represent everything we can charge with the available evidence.
It's one additional charge, more than the 9 that were already existing, correct?
Correct. The 9 original charges are the same. The only additional charge is the charge of murder in first degree.
How do you believe that Timothy Haslett came to know Jeannie Crosdale?
Well, the evidence is that Jeannie Crosdale had previously been arrested for commercial sex work, and that is how they came in contact with each other.
What is most?
But I want to say to your question, right? In Clay County, regardless of who you are, how much money you have, what the color of your skin is, everyone is entitled to equal protection under the law.
To you, what stands out most? What's most egregious about this case?
So my goal in this case, like every other case, right, is to find justice inside the courtroom. So I will save all those comments in the presentation of that type of evidence for a Clay County court.
Mr. Haslett suspected of any other crimes of violence at this time?
Well, so the probable cause statement indicates, right, that he had told his surviving victim that he had taken the life of 2 previous people. Right? The charge we have right now for murder from Jeannie Crosdale represents all available charges.
You see, so that would be almost a way of taunting the victims, because he told that lady that escaped, yeah, he killed 2 others before her. Oh, man.
It's possible, considering the facts and evidence we have.
Can you clarify in the probable cause statement, it described Ms. Crosdale as being with some kind of projectile? I can't remember the exact wording. Was she shot, or what does that mean in everyday terms? Do we know?
So the autopsy done indicated that there was perimortem wounds, which means at or near the time of death, right? They described those as high impact. There is evidence that the barrel where Ms. Crosdale's remains were found, that it was shot. There appears to be a hole in the barrel.
See? There he talked about the barrel. So sometime, I think it was last year, it was a few months after the October 7th, 2022 escape of the one victim who had that collar around her neck. Then a few months after, so I think it was in the beginning of 2023, there was a blue barrel found. And then later it was said that I don't think the prosecutor said it. People speculated, oh my word. It was one little article that I saw then, which said they believe that that's one of the witnesses that they were actually looking to speak with about the person who was kidnapped. So now to say, well, yeah, okay, in the blue barrel, there was, he just confirmed that a blue barrel is connected to this case, if you know what I'm saying. So just listen to this one more time here.
Ms. Crosdale's being...
That's the murder charge.
Some kind of projectile. I can't remember the exact wording. Was she shot, or what does that mean in everyday terms? Do we know?
So the autopsy done indicated that there was perimortem wounds, which means at or near the time of death. Right? They described those as high impact. There is evidence that the barrel where Ms. Crosdale's remains were found, that it was shot. There appears to be a hole in the barrel.
You think she was shot in the barrel, possibly?
Well, the evidence indicates, right, that her remains showed impact wounds consistent with a gunshot.
Does this new charge move folks in the step of justice? I mean, what should citizens be thinking? This really shook up the community, lots of communities, when they heard about this case. A lot of people are hoping for justice.
I think the takeaway from this case is the fact that law enforcement officers from over 16 different agencies worked together, spent countless hours investigating this case, and were able to bring the next step for justice for the victims, the families, and our community.
And when is the next date or trial, or where are we on that?
So the court would have set a date. I can get that information to you for the next court date.
Also, I remember now, because she was wearing I think they said it was like a metal collar or like a dog collar. Do you guys remember? And then they also said she was wearing like a trash bag, a refuse bag, and running through those streets. I mean, she was actually so lucky to make it out of there, right? And fought for her life and ran and was asking everyone for help. And he also wouldn't have told her, yeah, I killed your 2 friends. Yeah, I murdered them. He wouldn't tell her that if he wasn't planning on murdering her too. You know, if he thought that there's a chance she's going to escape and tell someone, he wouldn't have told her that. That is so scary. I hope that she's okay.
Our victim advocate has been in communication with Ms. Crosdale's family. I don't want to speculate as to what their emotional state is.
If there's time for just one quote, what's the main thing you want people to hear when they hear about these egregious new offenses and charges?
I think that the takeaway, right, is that law enforcement agencies in Clay County, the Clay County Prosecutor's Office will work hard to protect you, and it doesn't matter where you come from or how much money you have in the bank or what your job is. You deserve equal protection under the law. That's me.
I know you had originally said already that he told the surviving victim about taking the life of another person. Are there any leads on whether there actually are additional victims at this time, though?
So this remains an open investigation. To that point, I would ask anybody with any kind of information about the case, please reach out to law enforcement and share that information. But it remains an active investigation.
And reiterating, you were able to connect Haslett to Ms. Crosdale through DNA evidence as well.
Well, so Ms. Crosdale appears on a still image taken from Mr. Haslett's electronic device, showing her inside his basement. An SD card depicting individuals connected to Ms. Crosdale was found inside his house, and he made statements to the surviving victim that he'd taken someone else's life. And Ms. Crosdale was also found in a blue barrel of the same manufacturer as the ones found at the defendant's house.
So can you imagine with 100,000 pictures and videos? Okay. And then all these blue barrels suddenly popping up, probably because of flooding now. Because maybe of the hurricane? I don't know. People are saying, lots of locals are saying in the chat that the rivers have flooded recently and that would have maybe dislodged all these barrels. That is so... What, like, I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. It's scary to think that that's what's happening, but that's why it's important. If you see blue barrels floating, particularly obviously on the Missouri River, yeah, call the police, because it could literally have evidence in. And then I wouldn't doubt that we'll see more charges in the future. Hypnotized Lobsters said the community was outraged that many young black women were missing, and their demands that he was a serial offender were ignored by authorities. I remember that. Wasn't there? There was a pastor as well. Very vocal, very speaking up about saying there's a big concern. Like, why are they not taking this seriously? And then this happened and no one knew if it's connected. We still don't know, but I would speculate it could very well be. Okay, so let's continue
Were
here.
there any
Almost
other,
done.
besides the surviving victim and Ms. Crosdale, people shown inside his basement?
So this remains an open investigation, right? So, but I can say that the indictment today represents all available charges relevant to the facts and evidence we have today. If there are no more questions, I thank everyone for their time.
And that's it. Oh my. So, what an update. My goodness. So let's just quickly go here. So they said Excelsior Springs. I'm going to try not to say all these YouTube words, even though they said it. It just makes it better for YouTube if I don't say it too. SA kidnapping suspect Timothy Haslett Jr. now charged with murder. And so let me just make this bigger for you, and then we'll look at the document right after this, which will be the superseding indictment. So we've done a presentation catch-up. We've looked at some map time. We looked at the press conference, quick article, then the document. So Excelsior Springs, Missouri, a man already facing 9 felony charges in a 2022 SA and kidnapping case in Excelsior Springs now stands accused of murder. So that really upgrades the case. It was already terrible, but now they've connected a murder to him. Clay County prosecuting attorney Zachary Thompson announced the new charge filed against Timothy Haslett Jr. in a press conference at 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Haslett now faces 1 charge of felony first-degree murder in connection with the death of Janie Crossdale. To the family of Janie Crossdale, I am so sorry for your loss. Imagine finding out that your loved one was found, their body was found in a barrel and has been associated with this house where terrible things happened. I can't even imagine what the investigators have found, you know, on those SD cards and things like that. So they said Haslett was previously indicted on felony charges of SA in the first degree, 4 counts of SODOMY in the first degree, kidnapping in the first degree, 2 counts of assault in the second degree, and endangering the welfare of a child in the first degree. Those charges remain in place. In 2023, Crossdale, a potential witness in that case, was found dead in Saline County. Okay, so now that we've looked at all of those, I'm going to bring up the document for us. Thank you so much, Annie P, for sending this one to me. Superseding indictment. Okay. I'm just going to scroll up a bit. That's Timothy Marion Haslett Jr. Okay, it's just got his date of birth and address there, even though we know it. I'm just going to scroll up a bit in case YouTube is like, what are you trying to show there? Okay, yeah, Jamie says, who is this bastard, right? Really, who is he? Like, it just sounds like he is a monstrous serial killer, torturer as well. Back the Blue said, my hope is that he never sees another day of freedom, right? Thanks for being a member for 13 months. Okay, so they say superseding indictment, count 1, charge code. The grand jurors of the county of Clay, state of Missouri, charge the defendant in violation of section, all those codes, committed the Class A felony of murder in the first degree, punishable upon conviction under that section. In that between June 6th of 2022 and October 7th of 2022, in the county of Clay, state of Missouri, the defendant, after deliberation, knowingly caused the death of victim 1 by an act of homicidal violence. So that was what that press conference was just about. This new murder charge. This victim found in a barrel. The body found in a barrel. Oh my. Okay, and if you look at the date there, between June 6th of 2022 and October 7th, it was on October 7th when that lady escaped the house and she was running around with a collar on and not, wearing a trash bag and not much else, shame, man, like screaming through the streets and trying to get help while he was dropping his kid off at school, right? And she said, my friends didn't make it. My friends didn't make it. So she was saying that 2 of her friends didn't make it. And it seems like if this victim was going to be a witness for the case to talk to the police, well, if they were found deceased, I would speculate that would be one of her friends, which is also so sad. So the survivor would also know this now, which is very difficult to process. Not only the PTSD, your own trauma, but then also be like, oh my word, he actually murdered this person, allegedly. This is what he's charged with, right? So murder in the first degree is a Class A felony, and the punishment shall be either death or imprisonment for life without eligibility for probation or parole or release except by the act of the governor. So I don't think he's ever getting out, and perhaps the death penalty, huh? Okay. So Pickled Bird 1 said, I live in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, and will not forget. Thank you so much for being here with us. If there's locals here and you want to share, like if you drive by and you want to share, I don't know, some people will take like pictures of the house or share what they know. If you want to share any interactions that you had with this guy, what people are saying, please email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. So Gaynor said, I have a horrible feeling that could be a lot more too, right? Okay, so count 1 is the brand new charge, which is why it's the superseding indictment. And then count 2, I'm not going to read all the words of these counts, right? But committed the felony of RAPE in the first degree, punishable upon conviction and subject to a lifetime supervision under that between September 1st of 2022 and October 7th in the county of Clay, the defendant knowingly had sexual intercourse with victim 2. So you could see this one is about victim 1, which is the murder victim. This one is victim 2, which I think is because it was previous charges, the victim that escaped the house. Shame, man. And how would they know the dates as well? Well, it would be what she has told the police, but also what's on those SD cards. It sounds like this guy filmed a lot and took pictures of a lot, which is a very scary thought too. And another layer of humiliating the victims, right? Kidada Smith said, gee, you're truly amazing. Love you, love the mods, love the Grizzlies family. Thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so that's count 2. Count 3 is a felony of sodomy in the first degree, also with victim 2 between September 1st of 2022 and October 7th, the day that she escaped. Count 4, victim 2 is also sodomy again. So is count 5, the same, okay? And you could pause to read if you want to read all these words. It's absolutely horrendous. And then count 6, same, is also sodomy. Count 7 is felony, the Class B felony of kidnapping in the first degree between September 1st of 2022 and October 7th of 2022. Okay, without the victim's consent for the purpose of facilitating the commission of a felony. So they said that the victim that was murdered was a sex worker, and that's how they connected. I don't know if victim 2 was or wasn't. I remember them saying that she was a panhandler, and he had picked her up, offering her help and a place to stay. I remember something like that. Oh my goodness. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But Yeah, this is from memory from October 2022 now. Count 8 is Class D felony of assault in the second degree, punishable upon conviction under those sections. In between September 1st and October 7th, the defendant knowingly caused physical injury to victim 2 by means of a dangerous instrument by striking victim 2 with an object. Shame, man. Okay, so we've got those. I don't think he'll ever get out, so however long he'll stay, and the fines, yeah, add these all together, and obviously if he's found guilty, right now he's innocent until proven guilty. And we've got count 9, which would be Class D felony of assault in the second degree. Injury to victim 2 by means of a dangerous instrument by shocking and or burning her torso. This is the surviving victim. She went through... we can't even imagine what she went through. My goodness. Library Girl said, this case is one of the first times I watched this channel almost 2 years ago. Proud to be a Grizzly now. Thank you, G, for all your hard work. Thank you so much. And thank you for still being here. I love that. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to look at your email in a moment. Hypnotizes lobsters. So, shame, man. Dangerous instrument, shocking and or burning her torso. Yeah, this guy's a torturer. Sounding more and more like the toy box killer or something, right? Even though his toy box would then, if we speculate, be at the house, like in the basement. Whoa, the range of punishment. Okay, there. Again, then we've got the last count 10, committed the Class D felony of endangering the welfare of a child in the first degree, punishable upon those codes, right? The defendant knowingly acted in a manner that created a substantial risk to the life, body, and health of victim 3, a child less than 17 years old. I think the child was around 8 years old at the time, right? And so... they said a substantial risk to the life, body, and health of victim 3, a child less than 17 years old, by leaving unsecured firearms in areas accessible to the child. Wow, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, hey. Kerry said, I recall that the alleged panhandler lady was from the guy who kidnapped the lady and took her miles away, and she fought her way out of the cell. No, I think this one was one too, but maybe I'm wrong. I remember that one as well. Oh my word, that was so scary too. So... the range of punishment is also there, but again, I say if he's found guilty of these charges, I don't think he's ever getting out. So now we've got a probable cause statement here. The facts supporting this belief are as follows. Again, it's about Timothy Haslett Jr. On October 7th at approximately 7:47 hours. So again, trigger warning. Okay, this is a terrible... I mean, all true crime cases they can be very sad. Of course, earlier we had actually had a good news one where a 2-year-old was found alive and safe, and so was her dad and the dad's girlfriend and all of that. So if you didn't see that, go check that out. But many cases are horrendous. This one, I think, is very bad. So October 7th, 2022, at approximately 7:47 hours, Excelsior Springs police officers were dispatched to Excelsior Springs, Clay County, Missouri, on the report of a female who arrived at the front door of the residence dressed in a trash bag, metal collar with a padlock, there you go, and duct tape around her neck. I remember that now, with a padlock. I remember, oh my goodness, do you remember? The female told the calling party that she had been held hostage at a nearby residence since September of 2022. Officers contacted the female, who wore latex lingerie, a black head mask with a dildo gag, a metal collar around her neck with a padlock and duct tape. That's a lot more information than we had before. She was walking on Prospect Avenue in Kansas City, Jackson County, Missouri at the beginning of September 2022. She wore a red wig, a red tutu, black tank top, black jeans, leggings, and a Harry Potter shirt. Someone named Timothy, who drove a 4-door pickup truck with camouflage in the back, approached her. She got into the truck after Timothy offered her $350 to go to his house. En route, Timothy pulled a gun on her and forced her to perform oral sex on him. If you're wondering why I don't know this yet, it's because I just got this document 5 minutes before I went live. So I'm very, very grateful to have it. Thank you so much, Annie, for sending this to me. So we're learning a lot here. Okay, so en route, Timothy pulled a gun on her and forced her to perform oral sex on him. She was also forced to take a hit of dope, narcotics. When she fell asleep, Timothy took her 3 cell phones, an LG Cool Pad, and another phone that was factory reset. At Timothy's residence, he kept locked restraints on her wrists and ankles in a secured room in a basement, best described hereinafter as a dungeon, which terrified her. So when people talk about Rex Heuermann in his dungeon, then people are like, no, it's like a gun-safe room, or it's just a room, or it's a cordon-off room. This is like literally described as a dungeon. That is very scary. Oh, there we go. Luna Thomas said, Bishop Tony Caldwell. Miss G, I sent you an email. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I remember that name now. Yeah, he was saying it as loudly as he could, and no one was really listening. You know, the police were like, what? But it sounds, I mean, still, I wonder if it would end up being Timothy, right? So, a dungeon. Described as a dungeon which terrified her. Redacted described the room as having multiple locks, red lights, paddles, chains, cameras, and all types of things that could be used for torture. So, okay, I'm not far off when I say toy box killer vibes. So she was forced to use the restroom in a bucket and drugged with ice, which is narcotics. Redacted stated that Timothy choked, whipped, and forced her to perform all kinds of sex. These acts occurred every day of her captivity. She advised Timothy dressed in female lingerie during the times of the assaults in the dungeon. Like he dressed in it? Okay, BTK vibes. She stated that Timothy fed her once a day, either peanut butter and jelly or ham sandwiches. She had to perform oral sex in order to eat. Timothy would call her a sex slave. Stated that Timothy told her that there were 2 other females that he held captive who didn't make it. Whoa. He did not know their names. There were no other females while she was there. She stated on her first night at the residence that Timothy used a gas mask on her. She described a cycle of not being able to breathe while wearing the mask, and then he would let her breathe. Oh my word, this guy is literally the worst. Oh my goodness, okay. Timothy told Redacted that he killed the first female by using a gas mask, and she didn't last 3 minutes. The second girl died by electrocution with a device that was used in her in her vagina. Timothy said if she did not listen to him, he would suffocate her and put her in a barrel like the rest of them. Oh my word. Sorry for saying oh my word a lot, but it's like, what? This is a terrible, terrible case. In a follow-up interview, Redacted stated that Timothy inserted electric shocking sex toys. Okay, let me just put a disclaimer here for a moment. If YouTube takes the stream down, I will, right after the stream, I'll be downloading it so that if they take it down based on everything I'm saying, because you know how YouTube is, then I'm going to put it on Patreon, okay? So if you see it disappear, just know you can find it on Patreon because, oh my goodness, we're saying a lot of things over here, even though we want all the information. So, oh man, this guy inserted electric shocking sex toys into everywhere at the same time to punish her. Redacted slipped her arms out of the chains. She heard Timothy leave with his son, white male, juvenile, who also lived at the residence. She pulled the keypad off the wall and heard the door unlock. She ran upstairs and saw a gun in the front room. Redacted and a dog fled the house through the front door. Oh, the dog also ran. The dog ran for his life, right? Yeah, this would be in the category of, in my opinion, based on what we're hearing, a sexual sadist, which we've seen many serial killers go in that category. So again, I speculate that this is going to turn out to be a serial killer, if they can prove it. Excelsior Springs EMS responded and removed the lock from the collar around her neck as it restricted her ability to breathe. Officers observed injuries to her back consistent with her description of having been whipped. She was transported to the Excelsior Springs Hospital for treatment. Excelsior Springs Sergeant accompanied Jones to the hospital. En route, Redacted identified the Excelsior Springs, Missouri as the residence where she was held hostage. Do you remember that when they took her, shame, to the hospital and then she actually had to go back to like point at the residence that she escaped from? Can you imagine how scary that would be? After running, after escaping, and the police are like, look man, we're just gonna take you round again. Just show us which house it is. Wow, she was very, very brave. A record check of Redacted was conducted and revealed that Timothy Haslett, white male, born 11/23/1982, as being a resident. Surveillance of the residence was conducted. On October 7th of 2022, at approximately 8:41 hours, a gray and colored Dodge Ram pickup truck bearing Missouri license plates of arrived at the residence. These suspected serial killers and their pickup trucks, oh my goodness. It doesn't mean that if you have a pickup truck, or anyone has one, that they're dodgy. I'm just saying these guys, you know, it's always like, and they're in a pickup truck. Like, really? Okay, so they arrived at the residence. A traffic stop was conducted, which revealed Timothy Haslett, white male, as the driver. Haslett was arrested on municipal charges, and a black Samsung cell phone was recovered from his person. The Dodge Ram pickup truck was towed for processing. Both the phone and the truck were searched pursuant to search warrants. On October 7th of 2022, a Clay County search warrant was executed at the home, and a room in the basement was located that matched the description provided by the victim. The residence was processed by members of the Excelsior Springs, Missouri Police Department, Kansas City, Missouri Police Crime Scene Unit, and the Independence, Missouri Police Crime Scene Unit. Numerous items of lingerie were located in Haslett's bedroom. Items of electronic storage, computers, external hard drives, cell phones, and cameras were recovered. An unsecured handgun with a hammer back and around in the chamber was also recovered from the living room couch. Among the several items of evidence that was collected at the residence was a piece of paper that contained handwritten questions and answers that appeared to have been questions that Haslett asked the victim, followed by redacted answers. A pink and red tutu was discovered from the basement. A black gas mask and large blue barrels were also located. The dungeon was outfitted with 2 interior security cameras in addition to a security camera that was located outside of the room and positioned towards a shower. The cameras appeared to operate wirelessly, and a hard drive or other types of storage system were not located for the cameras. The cameras contained ports for secure digital cards, commonly referred to as SD cards, but none of the cameras were found to contain one. The only door to this room was secured by magnetic locks similar to what would have been seen inside of a basement, and an interior electronic keypad. There were several photos of the inside of this room, some of which separately depicted redacted, another unknown female, and Haslett saved inside of the black Samsung cell phone. Based upon the angle of view in these photos, they appear to have been captured by the camera mounted on the ceiling or to the ceiling of the dungeon. While continuing the investigation, additional information was developed from police interviews. A confidential source, CS, was contacted and stated that he or she believed that Haslett began constructing the room in the basement in 2021. On October 7th of 2022, a search warrant was obtained for the black Samsung cell phone recovered from Haslett's person. On October 8th of 2022, an investigator from the Heart of America Regional Computer Forensics Lab, HARCFL, executed the warrant on the Samsung cell phone. The phone number assigned to the subscriber identity module, SIM of the phone was, photos of Haslett dressed in female lingerie were located. A photo of redacted in a tutu in the dungeon was located. While continuing to conduct the preliminary analysis of the Samsung phone, the investigator also viewed a photo of a female who was lying on the floor next to a bed in a room that contained visible restraints, chains, and handcuffs. The female appeared to be half naked, with the exception of a latex top. The time or date stamp on the photo of the unknown female was 06/06/2022. It should be noted this female was not redacted, as this was prior to the date that this victim reported to have been kidnapped and did not resemble her. Further, the phone contained a combination of over 100,000 photos and videos, hereinafter media. A lot of the media appeared to be saved screenshots taken from PORN websites. The media depicted females being choked, gagged, wearing gas masks, wearing different types of restraints. Oh my goodness, and in otherwise aggressive, submissive situations. The phone also contains saved images of Missouri River navigation maps. Hence I say, with some flooding, well, flooding is bad. The silver lining now is it's dislodging these barrels, it seems like, because there's now blue barrels seen floating down the Missouri River, as in like a week ago. You know what I mean? So hopefully police are on it. Okay, securing them and everything. They did say so in that post I read to you on Facebook. If you see a blue barrel in the Missouri River, or wherever that river may lead, a blue barrel in general, call the police, right? Call the police. So, in an effort to identify the unknown female, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department's Vice Squad reviewed historic arrests for commercial sex work in which an arrestee bore a resemblance to the unidentified female. 2 potential matches were identified, one of which was redacted, black female, redacted. We're almost done, by the way. On January 12th of 2023, at approximately 16:30 hours, a family member of Witness 1 filed a miscellaneous investigation report regarding her not having had contact with her since September of 2022 at Independence Avenue and Bales Avenue, Kansas City, Jackson County, Missouri. Witness number 1 later stated she was... Does that say what? She was not certain. There we go. Not certain of the date that she last had contact with redacted, but recalled it was not long after she had been released from custody. Witness 1 advised that she had observed redacted on the local televised news channel to be a potential witness to a kidnapping and a SA case out of Excelsior Springs, Clay County, Missouri. Investigators conducted an extensive search to find redacted or the last person to see her alive. This included a billboard being placed in a high-trafficked area of Kansas City, Missouri that contained an edited photo of her. Witness number 2, a family member of redacted, advised that she last spoke with her on the phone in March of 2022. Witness number 3, also a family member of, stated she last saw her between August 13th and August 25th of 2022 at a taco truck in the area of Independence Avenue and Van Brunt Boulevard in Kansas City, Jackson County, Missouri. Witness 3 also stated she was not certain of the dates, as she recalled it was a week after they had been released from custody. A search of their criminal history revealed that she had been released from custody on April 22nd of 2022. No evidence has been located that verified that she was alive after early June of 2022. So I think that's all about the murder victim, right? On January 30th of 2023, Detective redacted, a Gladstone, Missouri Police Department detective assigned to the Heart of America Regional Computer Forensic Lab, found photos of what appeared to be family gathering on an SD card recovered during the execution of a search warrant at Haslett's residence. The photos appear to be of exclusively African American individuals taken on December 8th of 2007 on a Nikon, I know some of you would say Nikon camera, which was not recovered from Haslett's residence. On February 1st of 2023, the photos of the adults were sent to the Missouri Information Analysis Center for facial recognition examination. Tentative identifications of the 2 of the 3 adult males were found to be brothers of a former fiancé of that victim. These identifications were confirmed through a combination of social media profiles, criminal history reports, interviews of the subjects depicted, and government photographs. On June 24th of 2023, at approximately 1600 hours, Sergeant redacted Missouri State Highway Patrol was contacted by Saline County Sheriff. That's also redacted, right? If there's anything that you're telling me in the chat that you want me to pay attention to, please email it to me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Okay, I don't want to miss it. I'll watch the chat replay tomorrow. I'll say tomorrow because obviously now it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning for me. But email me if there's any information that you want to get to me. So, they say the sheriff informed Sergeant redacted the sheriff's department was notified of human remains that were discovered in a barrel in the Missouri River in an area known as Hill Shoe Island. Sheriff redacted requested the Missouri State Highway Patrol's Division of Drug and Crime Control conduct the investigation. On June 24th of 2023, at approximately 1727 hours, investigators arrived at the Waverly River access in Waverly, Missouri. Saline County Sheriff's deputy, redacted, was already on scene. Missouri State Highway Patrol corporals, redacted, arrived at approximately 7:52 hours and 18:01 hours, respectively. After moving to the Waverly Port access, investigators boarded a Missouri State Highway Patrol boat and traveled to the area of the located remains. Investigators contacted the reporting parties, who stated that they were on a kayak trip and decided to stop in the area to camp for the night. They located a blue barrel and were going to use it for target practice. As they removed the barrel from its location in some logs, they dropped it, the lid came off, and a skull came out. Guys, this is hectic. Oh my word. Okay, that must have been scary. A skull came out. One witness used a pair of pliers to turn the skull over to confirm it was a human skull. They then contacted the authorities. The witnesses filled out written statements. I'm just going to dab my face a little bit because it's so damn hot. Not only is the case very hectic, but like, phew, it's very hot right now in Switzerland. Okay. So, the barrel containing the remains were located near piles of driftwood on the south side of an area known as Hills Island Chute. The barrel was a Greif brand, blue-colored 30-gallon barrel with lid and locking ring. Jeffrey Dahmer also had barrels in his apartment. So then, the barrel was on its side with the opening facing south. Apparent decomposition matter had run downhill from the barrel. The skull, lower mandible, vertebrae, and several other bones had come out of the barrel onto the ground. After documenting the scene, the remains which fell out of the barrel were placed back inside. The barrel was then picked up, the lid was secured, and was secured in a body bag. Investigators then transported the barrel and remains back to the Waverly Port access and was released to the Saline County Coroner's Office. Photographs of the barrel showed an apparent bullet defect. So, Paula, no, we do not. So an autopsy was conducted on June 27th of 2023 at approximately 8:30 hours at the Boone or Callaway Medical Examiner's Office in Columbia, Missouri. The autopsy was performed by Redacted and was assisted by Technician Redacted. The contents of the recovered barrel were photographed and documented by investigators. On July 11th of 2023, investigators obtained a femur segment from the Boone County Medical Examiner's Office located at Columbia, Missouri, to be forwarded to a Missouri State Highway Patrol lab for DNA analysis. On July 13th of 2023, investigators submitted a request for copies of any dental records belonging to the Missouri Department of Corrections. Based on information previously obtained from the Excelsior Springs Police Department and the Clay County Prosecutor's Office, it was believed that the remains were located with those of this victim. On July 30th of 2023, investigator was notified by the Boone County Medical Examiner's Office that the recovered remains were positively identified as that victim. On August 11th of 2023, the Boone County Medical Examiner's Office provided investigators a copy of the forensic anthropology report completed by forensic anthropologist Redacted. The report indicated that the remains were those of an African American female, approximately 30 to 45 years of age at time of death, with an estimated stature of 59.8 to 66.1 inches. The report further stated that both perimortem high-velocity projectile trauma and perimortem blunt force trauma were observed to the remains. These injuries are classified as perimortem due to the lack of gross or microscopic evidence of healing, as well as pattern of fracture with the presence of plastic deformation. There are 2 defects to the lower spine. I think that says T1 through L1, consistent with perimortem high-velocity projectile trauma. These defects are the result of a single event. However, differentiation between entry and exit cannot be determined. There is perimortem blunt force trauma to the lower right leg with a lateral to medial direction of impact. On August 21st of 2023, investigators received copies of dental x-ray photographs and a copy of the autopsy report. On August 21st of 2023, investigators received a certified report authored by Missouri State Highway Patrol criminalist Redacted, dated August 15th of 2023. Reference DNA testing of the previously submitted femur segment. The report indicated there was an insufficient quantity of DNA for analysis. I believe that the defendant will not appear in court in response to a criminal summons because, due to the nature of the crimes he's being accused of. Oh yes, don't let him out. I wonder also why. Why is it no? It should be no bond, right? $5 million. It sounds like a lot, but no bond would make one feel much safer. But anyway, $5 million bond it is. I believe that the defendant poses a danger to the community or to any other person because Haslett has been accused of murder, kidnapping, SA, sodomy, and armed criminal action. So that's the superseding indictment. Let me just quickly check what was sent to me here. I'm getting lots of things here. Just hold on 1 second. Thank you to everyone emailing me the conversation with Bishop Tony Caldwell. I don't know how long that one is. Just hold on 1 second. I will link that for you guys. It's called What's Up Kansas City. It's a video that someone sent me. The conversation with Bishop Tony Caldwell on the Kansas City murder rate. Okay, so I'm going to link that in the description box for you. I just want to see. Oh, shame. Annie P, you sent me a picture of the victim? Okay, shame, man. Let's see that. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Okay. Janie Crossdale, slain woman connected to Timothy Haslett case, was full of energy and life. Shame, there's a picture of her. I just want to make it like this so that I can make it bigger for you. Oh my goodness. Poor Janie. Janie Crossdale's body was found in Saline County, Missouri earlier this month. Authorities had been looking for her in connection with the Timothy Haslett case. Janie Crossdale's family remembers her as charismatic and able to talk to anyone. So this is the homicide charge for Janie Crossdale's murder. that Timothy Haslett Jr. has just been charged with. And that's what the press conference was about. It was big news in this case today, right? So little Janie Crossdale was a Spitfire. Oh, just the last sentence here, it said, her death has brought up questions about how police handle cases of missing black women. Little Janie Crossdale was a Spitfire. Although she came from a big family, when Jay Bird walked into the room, everyone took notice. Janie and Nakia, cousins who were the same age, attended Swinney or Volker Elementary School, where Janie was the fastest runner. Janie was the popular one, Nakia the quiet one, and they paired up as partner superheroes like Batman and Robin. She was just full of energy and life, said Nakia Crossdale. She could talk to anybody. She was very charismatic. Her family, who called her Jaybird, doesn't want to talk about it, but at some point in her late teens or early 20s, Janie Crossdale's life moved from the comfort of a big family to the streets. In late June, Janie's remains were found in the Missouri River, about 90 miles east of Kansas City. She was 36 years old. Authorities were looking for Janie Crossdale in connection with a criminal case against Timothy Haslett Jr., who faces, 40, I think he's now a little bit older, let's just see. I think he's like 42 now. 41, I think. Who faces 10 counts, right, for allegedly beating and essaying and holding a 22-year-old black woman captive. That's the one that escaped. The woman, identified as TJ in police reports, escaped last October after being held for more than a month, and told police that more women might have been victimized by Haslett. Haslett, who is white, has pleaded not guilty and is now being held under, and of course has been updated now to, a $5 million bond in the Clay County Detention Center. So they say they don't want to stir stuff up. Now the thing is, I do want to show you the pictures, but this entire article I would like to link for you. Shame, man. Have you seen Janie Crossdale? They did talk about that billboard. I'm going to link it for you so that you can read it yourself. I don't want to take too long now in this live stream because I want people to watch the replay. If it's too long, then they won't watch it. I want them to check it out. And I would like if you could read this at some point as well. Look there. They say Janie Crossdale's family says she was charismatic and popular in elementary school. The family called her Jaybird. Shame, man. Oh my goodness. This is terrible. Janie Crossdale was in Haslett's house. So yeah, they had this fencing all around and this crime scene tape. And look, the house was all boarded up and everything as well. And the house still stands there now. As I was asking in the beginning of the stream, is it still there? Yes, locals say it's still there. Shame, man. I'm so sorry to Janie Crossdale's family and friends. That is just terrible. Gaynor says, I think we have ogre number 2 here, G. I think so. It seems like it. Like this guy is so scary. It sounds like a combination of, if I were to speculate, the Toy Box Killer, BTK, a little bit Dahmer, and Rex Heuermann, right? My goodness. Pernille, thanks for reminding everyone. Links will be posted in the description box, right? So if you just click more, then you will see them there, right? Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I just quickly want to see if there's anything else that I missed. Carrie said T1 is based in the neck. L1 is hip level. Source, I'm a former registered nurse with a T6 spinal injury paralysis. Thank you so much, Carrie, for that. If there's any information that you want to share with me, you can either leave a comment, but if it's something that you really want me to not miss, because sometimes I miss comments as much as I try to read them all, like reading, I don't know, between 5,000 and 10,000 comments a week is very difficult. Very, very difficult. So please email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com, especially if you're local or if you're family or friends and you wanted to share information with me that maybe I could update you with the next time when we look at this case. I'm sure there's going to be more updates here as they investigate. And I think it's a massive investigation. 100,000 pictures and videos. Oh my. So I hope that you're all okay. I find this case incredibly disturbing. It's really horrendous to think what's possible here and what happened. I'm so glad that that victim escaped. As someone said earlier in the chat, she's the hero of the story. Thank goodness she found that moment to make a run for it. And she did everything she could. I think they said she ripped like an alarm or something off the wall and then ran, and the dog bolted too. And she ran and went to get help, you know, which already that would have also risked her life. She didn't know, but she was listening out and she heard he left and she went. So thank goodness, because I think that would have saved many lives, right? Okay, everyone, thank you so much. I hope that you rest well. I hope that you have a great evening or whatever time it is for you, for the rest of your evening, day, whatever. We've got an international audience, so maybe if you're in Australia, good morning to you already. Hope the coffee's good. I will be there drinking coffee in a few hours after some nap time. All right, everyone, please like and share so that others can also learn this information. Maybe look out for, as difficult as it sounds, like look out for blue barrels or evidence or anything. If you know something, if you saw something, please say something. You never know if it could help. Okay, everyone, see you soon. Bye.